All right, so to add or subtract fractions. Okay, to add or subtract fractions or mixed numbers, the denominator of the fraction, the bottom number, okay, that's what the denominator is, the bottom number must be the same. If it's not, okay, we can't add them together yet. Okay, all the ones you're going to deal with today have a like denominator. Okay, we will discuss tomorrow the ones that don't have like denominators and how we deal with those. But for today, we're going to have the same denominator. Okay? Now, the second thing is when you add or subtract, your answer must be in simplest form. Okay? Some of you didn't do as well on the test that we took last week because you didn't do that. Okay? For example, one of the problems on the test was 0.8, and it tells you to make it as a fraction in simplest form. Well, a lot of you put 8 over 10 and left it that way. 8 over 10 is not in simplest form. Okay? So 8 over 10 should be reduced to 4 over 5. Okay? So you're going to miss problems in this whole chapter if you don't reduce them. Okay? I'll give you an example. The very first problem I'm going to look at, 5/8 plus 1/8. Okay? 5/8 plus 1/8. Now, what we're talking about is the denominator. Those two numbers have to be the same. That's the denominator. Okay? In this case, they are the same. They're both 8. So therefore, how you add those two numbers together is you simply do this. 5 plus 1 over 8. When we're adding, you add the top numbers, but the bottom number stays the same. Okay, we don't take 8 plus 8 and get 16. Okay, we just have 8 and 8. Okay, be like this. If we have a pizza, okay, and it has 8 slices, okay, and Michael wants to pig out on the pizza, so Michael gets 5 slices. Okay, Emma wants to watch, well, I can't eat too much because I don't want to get, don't want to get too full. Don't want, I'm a cheerleader. I got to, all that stuff. Okay, she only gets 1 slice. So did they get a total of 6 16th slices? No, they got 6 of the 8 slices of pizza. Okay, that's why the denominator stays the same. So we're going to find out how many slices of pizza they got. We're not saying that there's 16 slices of pizza. There's only 8 slices of pizza, okay? And Michael got 5 of them. Emma got 1 of them. And so together they got 6/8 of the pizza. Now, 6/8 we can simplify. We have to simplify 6/8. We have to take it to its simplest form, its lowest terms. We have to reduce it, whatever you want to say there. Okay, those all are synonymous terms. Means they mean the same thing. Okay, but I've got to reduce it. 6 over 8 I can reduce by 2 over 2. Okay, some of you made a careless mistake on the test when you're reducing, and you reduced it by like 2/3 instead of 2 over 2. Okay, you reduce the top number by one number and you reduce the bottom number by a totally different number. Can't do that. That's not an equivalent fraction. Okay, so 2 over 2, so that means I divide 2 into 6, and I divide 2 into 8, and that gives me 3/4. And your answer then is 3/4. So between Emma and Michael, they ate 3/4 of the pizza. Okay, of course Michael was the pig of the group and ate, 5 slices and didn't leave anything for anybody else. And that wasn't very nice of Michael, but hey, I guess he was hungry. Okay, so 3/4, fairly simplistic, not real hard. Let's look at another example, one that maybe is a little bit harder. We'll look at a mixed number. Okay, it doesn't change for a mixed number. We have 1 1/4 plus 2 3/4. Okay, 1 1/4 plus 2 3/4. All right, so do they have the same denominator? Okay, and what is that denominator? Okay, so that means we can go ahead and add them together. Okay, 1 1/4 plus 2 3/4. Okay, 1 1/4 plus 2 3/4. So, if I take 1 1/4 plus 2 3/4, I have to do this. I'm going to line them up vertically. Okay, because vertically for me is always better. Okay, vertically for me is always better. So I have 1 1/4 plus 2 3/4. Okay, 1 1/4 plus 2 3/4. Now I simply add 1 plus 3, which is what? 4. 1 plus 2, which is 3. Okay, now I have to put 4 over 4 in simplest terms. Okay, I have to put 4 over 4 in simplest terms. What is 4 over 4 equal to? Well, this is a improper fraction that is equal to 1. Okay, but I have to take and add the 1 back to the 3. Okay, and that gives me 3 plus 1, which is 4. Okay, so 4 is your answer. All right, now let's look at another example. Let's look at a subtraction one. Okay, we have 4 1/4 minus 2 3/4. Okay, 4 1/4 minus 2 3/4. Once again, I like setting them up vertically because for me it just seems easier. Okay, so 4 1/4 minus 2 3/4. Okay, now can I take 1 minus 3? No, can't do that. Okay, so I have to borrow from the 4. So I have to borrow from the 4 here, making that a 3. Okay? When I borrow from the 4, okay, it means I am taking 4 over 4 plus 1/4. Okay? Here's the 1/4 right here. I borrowed 1 from the 4, making it 3, right? Borrowed 1 from the 4, making it 3. Okay? This is the 1 that I borrowed. Okay? Now, when I put those two together, what is 4/4 plus 1/4? 5/4. Okay? So here's my new problem. 3 and 5 over 4 minus 2 and 3 over 4. Okay? 3 and 5 over 4 and 2 and 3 over 4. So, now we subtract 5 minus 3. What is 5 minus 3? 2. 2 over 4. Okay? 2 over 4. And then you take 3 minus 2. Okay? Now I have to reduce 2 over 4. What is a common factor or a common number between 2 and 4? 2. Okay? So I'm going to divide by 2 over 2. Okay? And that gives me 1 and 1/2 is your answer. Okay? If you leave it as 1 2/4, it's going to be wrong. Okay? So don't leave it that way. Okay? Okay? I want you to do this one on your own. Four and 3/5 plus 3 and 1/5. Okay, do that one on your own. Okay. What'd you get, Jonah? 7 4/5. That is correct. Okay. So, once again, if you did it horizontally, you can do that. You would take the 3 plus the 1. So you basically have this, 4 plus 3 and 3 plus 1 over 5. Okay, that's what you have in this problem. Okay, 4 plus 3 and 3 plus 1 over 5. So 4 plus 3 is 7. 3 plus 1 is 4, and the 5 stays the same. Now, is 4/5, is there any common factors between 4 and 5? No. So it stays that. That's it. That's as far as we can go with it. Okay? Now, let's look at another one that has some of the borrowing in it again. Let's see here. Yeah. 7 3/8 minus 1 7/8. Okay, 7 3/8 minus 1 7/8. Okay, so what you have then is, if you're doing it horizontally, you would have this, 7 minus 1, and then you would have 3 minus 7 over 8. Okay, well, I can't do this. 3 minus 7 I can't do. Okay, so I have to borrow from the 7, making it a 6. Okay, now I'm going to take 3/8 plus what I borrowed, 8 over 8, and add them together. And what does that give you? What? 11 over 8. So now you have 6 minus 1, and you have 11 minus 7 over 8. Okay? So 6 minus 1 is what? 5. 11 minus 7 is? 11 minus 7? 4 over 8. So I have 5 4/8. Okay, 5 4/8. Can I reduce 4 over 8? What can I reduce it by? By 4. Okay, so I'm going to reduce it by 4. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 8 two times. So I have 5 1/2. Okay. Any questions on that one? Jonah? Okay. When I borrowed, let me do it like this, yeah. 7 3/8 minus 1 7/8. Another reason why I like it vertically, because it's easier to see sometimes. When you're borrowing 1 from that, so I have to add 1 to 3/8. Okay, so I have to take 3/8 plus 1. Okay, well, can I add 1 over 1? Can I add that? Can I add a 1 to an 8? No, because they have to have common denominators. So I'm just transforming this 1 to a common denominator of 8 over 8 and add the 3/8 to it. Now, if this would have been 3/16 over 7/16, okay, then this would have been 16 over 16. This was 3/20 and 7/20, then this would be 20 over 20. Whatever the denominator is what your whole number is going to add to it. And realistically, eventually you will get to the point of just understanding that all I'm really doing, when I have 3/8 and I borrow, I'm just going to add 8 to the top number. Okay, if I had 6 over 7 and I was borrowing, then I would just add 7 to the top number and make it 13. Okay, instead of having to do this right here, I can just add it like this right here and know that that's what I'm doing eventually. Okay, so then once you have that, you would have your 11 over 8, and that one's no longer there. And now we're just taking 11 minus 7, which is 4, and 6 minus 1, which is 5. And that would be 5 4/8, and then obviously we reduce it to 5 1/2. Okay, let's look at another borrowing. All right, you have 10 1/9 minus 5/9. Okay? Once again, I'm going to put them vertically. Like that. So there's a 0 right here. Okay? Now, can you take 1 minus 5? No. So I have to borrow from the 10, making it a 9. And I'm just simply going to add 9 to my 1. And that's going to give me 9 plus 1, 10. So that's 10. That's 10 ninths. Okay? Because this is your borrow right here. So 10, now I have 10 minus 5. 10 minus 5 is what? 5 over 9. And I have 9 minus 0. And that's your answer. Okay, I'm going to give you a borrowing one to do on your own. Let's see here if I can find one. Yeah, there we go. All right. 5 and 3 over 7 minus 2 and 6 over 7. Okay, so do that one on your own. Okay, let's look at this one, see if you got it right. First, we go vertical with them. Okay. First, we go vertical. Now, can we take 3 minus 6? No, can't do that. So we have to borrow. Borrow from the 5, making it a 4. And I'm simply going to add 7 to 3. I'm going to add 7. So that makes that 10 over 7. And I'm just going to bring this over, minus 6 over 7. Okay, well, what is 10 over 7 minus 6 over 7? 4 over 7. Then I'm just simply going to take 4 minus 2, which is 2. So 2 and 4 over 7. Okay. Does everyone understand where I got the 10 from? Okay. All right. All right, you're doing 5.2, 1 through 18. Still got about 10 minutes left in class, so I want you to work on it. That way, if you have questions, I can help you with any questions that you have. Okay? On the screen. Okay, 5.2, 1 through 18.